Hey everyone, Brandon with another EV misconception video. Now, there's a common misconception regarding electric vehicle batteries stating that they have to be thrown out within 2 years and they cannot be recycled and they're actually worse for the environment. Well, today's video, we're going to be focusing on the EV misconception that the batteries do not last more than just a few years, through the help of our sponsor Recurrent, utilizing their battery data report specifically for our Tesla Model 3 to show you that these battery packs are going to last you a lot longer than you may think. So, to the studio. So first off, before we dive into the data, let's get the concerns out of the way. New electric vehicles, as well as some used electric vehicles, come with battery warranties. And these warranties will cover pretty much anything that goes wrong with the battery pack, which means that there's no cost that comes out of your pocket or wallet, which is great. So specifically for our Tesla Model 3, the Tesla Model 3 has a warranty of, well, at least the standard range, has a warranty of 8 years or 100,000 miles, whatever comes first. And a Model 3 long range has an 8-year or 120,000 mile warranty, which is just impressive.
It is.
So if anything happens during that time period or that distance, the warranty should cover a brand new battery pack. But let's talk about comparing that to a gas or a combustion engine. Most warranties for gas engines, from what we're seeing in the industry, is 5 years or 60,000 miles. And on average, from what we're seeing with our research, a new combustion engine costs about $3,000 to $5,000. So yes, even though that engines are a little bit cheaper than battery packs, the warranties are a lot shorter, which means if you're going to own your vehicle longer, you could end up paying that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's the one great thing about EVs, is that the majority of them, specifically the Model 3, has a great battery warranty.
So you might be wondering, well, what if my Tesla does run out of battery warranty? How much is it going to cost? And Brandon's going to explain the cost of what we found.
So here's a fact for you. Recurrent Automotive is a dealership based out of Illinois that only sells electric vehicles as well as services electric vehicles. And thanks to our sponsor today, Recurrent put together a list of how much it costs to replace battery packs in specific models, specifically the Model 3. Now, before we dive into numbers, I just want to tell you guys that since the Tesla Model 3 is a newer model, all the ones on the road right now are still covered under that battery warranty. However, Recurrent Automotive replaced a battery of a 75 kilowatt hour Model 3, and it cost roughly about $13,500 for the battery pack itself, roughly about $2,300 for labor, which equated to roughly about $15,800 in all for both the battery replacement as well as labor. So that is roughly what we're seeing for the cost of a battery replacement for the Model 3 at the moment. But like we said, the model is so new, so it's yet to be confirmed. So if that number surprised you, bear in mind a lot of gas combustion engines are becoming a lot more technologically advanced too, which does equate to extra cost. So the number that I provided earlier, about $3,000 to $5,000, did not include labor, did not include any other potential replacements in part of replacing that engine. So honestly, with today's technology and what we're seeing with new combustion vehicles, the total engine replacement could be upwards of $15,000 to $20,000.
Easily.
Depending on how many cylinders the engine has, depending on the technology implemented into it. So yes, if that number with the battery cost did surprise you, it is a lot of money for some people.
It is.
But the warranties are going to be a lot better, and if you have to buy a new engine, especially with today's technology, it could be a lot more money. So now let's get into the data. Now that we talked about the warranty and pretty much reassuring that your brand new electric vehicle, or if it is a relatively new used electric vehicle, is going to be covered in terms of battery replacement. So today's video is sponsored by our sponsor Recurrent, and Recurrent Auto provides in-depth battery reports that specifically targets specific models and their owners' driving habits, charging habits, and so forth. So as a consumer, you can get a better understanding if that vehicle is going to work for you and how long that battery lifespan will be, if there is any degradation or any loss of life to that battery. So let's dive into the Recurrent report specifically for our Model 3. So this is the Recurrent landing page, and what's really cool about this is that you can see data points from our vehicle is being collected in real time, and Recurrent will send you monthly emails and reports based on your specific vehicle that's all VIN specific, which is really nice. And here, let's dive into our report. So we drive a 2021 Model 3 long range, all-wheel drive. We live in Cleveland, Ohio, and it will provide information based on how many vehicles are within the fleet compared to your vehicle. So right now, there's about almost 8,500 cars that are being monitored by Recurrent, which is awesome. And as we scroll through the dashboard, there's a lot of data points that you can see here. So right here, we're seeing a max range on the full charge of about 347 miles at 85 degrees. 90 degrees, we could see 346, and at 15 degrees, we could see about 345, which is really cool. So it gives you a better understanding of what your state of charge can be during certain temperatures. But right now, let's dive down to how we can see how our battery life compares to other vehicles based on our state of charge. This is really where we're going to be focusing on the life and battery degradation. So the first piece of advice that we want to give to all drivers is that to keep your battery healthy, you really want to keep the state of charge between 30 to 80%, which is this green area in the Recurrent report. This is going to be your target zone. So this is a really kind of like the optimal charging area, pretty much what you just want to keep your vehicle in. Now, one thing that I do want to say here is that if you've had a cell phone that the battery life has died pretty quickly over maybe like a year or two, this is going to be very different with electric vehicles. And the reason that it's going to be different is that the battery pack in the majority of electric vehicles have a battery management system that maintains the temperature as well as allows you to set the state of charge that you want to max out at. So on the daily, you can charge to 80%. Now, friendly reminder, you can charge to 100% and you can discharge under 30%. But we really recommend the happy area between 30 to 80% on the daily. So now, as you can see in the Recurrent report, now this is specific to our vehicle, all the blue dots are going to be observation of where we either lowered the state of charge into what we charged at. And as you can see for the month of April, we've really maintained an 80% state of charge, as well as between 30 to 80%. So we're doing what we can to make sure that our battery stays healthy and minimizes any loss of battery. And now this next chart is a historical insight. This is going to give you an idea of what your range is versus similar vehicles, which would be other Model 3s that Recurrent is monitoring. It's also really cool is that you can see an estimated manufacturing date and how old your battery is, as well as battery warranty remaining based on your odometer, as well as how long you've owned your vehicle. So you can see for our vehicle, we still have about 7 years or about 116,000 miles left on our battery warranty. And then you can see that our range compared to other vehicles that are being monitored is in a green zone, which is the healthy area, which is fantastic. But you'll notice here too, Recurrent definitely likes to be realistic, and there's really no battery data after 5 years because the Model 3 is a newer vehicle and it was released in summer of 2017. So as 2022 goes on, we should start seeing more data populate here. But it's really nice, and as we can see from this chart, it actually appears that the range goes up over time versus your battery losing any state of charge, which is really cool. So after reviewing Recurrent's data, it's proved to us that electric vehicle batteries will last a lot longer than the common misconception is that they will have to be replaced after a few years. Specifically 2 years is the common one that we're seeing on the internet. So the one thing with electric vehicle batteries is that they are far smarter than what you're finding in cell phones, as well as that toothbrush in your bathroom. They have systems that maintain optimal battery health, and then with a healthy charging habit of charging between 30 to 80% daily, as well as 100% for those occasional long distance trips, your battery should last you a very long time. In fact, if you do have any issues with new vehicles, that's where those warranties come into play. However, similar to gas vehicles, if the battery in the vehicle is older, that's where you're going to have to pay for it. But that's come to expected with vehicle ownership, regardless if it's electric or gasoline.
So if you wanted to see what your vehicle report is for similar electric vehicles to what you own and drive, go sign up today at recurrentauto.com. It is definitely worthwhile. I absolutely love digging through all the data, all the reports. really cool to see all the data points, just to kind of see like, oh, hey, like 5 years, this is what our Tesla's going to be like.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yep. And so a big thank you to our sponsor Recurrent. We'll definitely include a link to their website in the description below, and we'll cite all of our sources from the facts for this video, and definitely subscribe for those future EV misconception videos. If you have any that you've heard, let us know in the comment section, and we'll definitely do our research to find some facts to debunk those.
In the lab.
In the lab. So as always, if you haven't yet, make sure you consider subscribing to Everyday EV. Share this video with your friends, especially those who are questioning electric vehicles. And as always, take care, stay safe, and
make every day electrified.
we'll see you guys in the next one.